What is up, my dashing dudes? I am the Hans TV, and I hope that y'all are ready for some severe stupidity in the form of a person named Kevin. It's time for r/stories about Kevin. Our first post for the day comes from Your Quirk. Mr. Certified Genius married Miss Kevin. This Kevin isn't the sharpest spoon in the knife drawer. I had a friend who was literally a rocket scientist. Or almost. His education could have given him the option, but instead he opted for the world of high-end robotic engineering. He was a certified Mensa member, he was handsome, smart, and quite charming. He could have gotten any sexy girl in the world, yet he had chosen Kevin. I had the privilege to experience this admittedly gorgeously cute Kevin firsthand when we enrolled in the same school at about 19. Here are some of her more memorable feats. We are Swedes, so excuse my own linguistic shortcomings. Kevin shared 5 to 10 links on Facebook every day as she did not know how else to save articles, dieting tips, and recipes. We took the same school bus every day, and along the way we passed a group of wind turbines. Twice a day, 5 days a week for 7 weeks, so came the fall's first really freezing cold morning. As we reached the wind turbines that day, Kevin commented, "Wow, who thinks it's so hot that they turned on the big fans today?" First day of school, we were introduced to a teacher who told us that she was born in South Africa. Kevin exclaimed that, "Nah, not buying that easy one, you can't be from that country because you are white." Apparently, I was in on it too when I tried to explain the concept of colonialism. For the entire year, she tried to crack the code of his real nationality. Kevin picked up stray words and concepts here and there from her boyfriend and used them without any real comprehension or understanding. Kevin did not believe that we will ever be able to recreate dinosaurs through science, as their big bodies couldn't survive today's gravity. The few times she was trusted to do her own grocery shopping, she routinely had clerks go through each and every item in the cart, checking that there was no GMO in the product, as she did not understand the labels and she was afraid that she would become mutated if she ate genetically modified foods. She was worried about being bullied over it. She referred me to X-Men as a sort of prognostication of the dystopical bullying to come. My friend was a no bullshit leftist, liberal, democratic socialist. Kevin, on the other hand, voted conservative in the EU election, as she didn't want men to stop being gentlemanly, buy flowers, or become more feminine. A woman on YouTube had told her that's what the left wanted for us all some days before voting. In all other regards, she explained she liked the other party better. This is just the ones I got on the top of my head. I'm sure there is more. I recently checked in on my friend. The couple are 2 years into their marriage and still going strong. I've always seen Kevin as the proof that there really are someone out there for everyone. Someone who, with unconditional love, can explain the world and blow our mind each and every day. As long as they're happy, I guess. Our next post comes from Undesirable 11. Kavina doesn't know what caffeine is. So I was at work yesterday, I'm a stalker, and was working in the coffee section of the store. Then this lady came to me with a Nestle coffee that said decaf on the package. She proceeded to ask me what decaf meant, so I told her that decaf stands for decaffeinated. She stood there for a couple of seconds and said, "So it has more coffee?" And I said, "No, it means that the coffee is decaffeinated." And she once again said, "So it has more coffee, right?" At this point, I was shocked. How can someone that drinks coffee not know what caffeine is? So I said, "You know what caffeine is, right? It's an active ingredient that coffee has." "Well, this coffee doesn't have it in it." She was processing what I said, then took a regular coffee and replied, "Oh, so decaf is stronger than this one." At first, I honestly thought she was messing with me, but I could see on her face that she was literally confused as hell. So I just said, no. Decaf is lighter than regular?" She just said, "Oh, okay," and grabbed the decaf. Maybe she'll notice what I was talking about when she drinks her morning cup and doesn't feel awake at all. I'm gonna be real with you, Chief. This lady dumb as a bag of bricks. Our next post comes from R. Dekuroki. Why are there so many Kevins? So, in my class, we had 10 Kevins, so most of my class was made of Kevins, but we are paying attention to the biggest Kevin. So Kevin always does his math incorrect, and no, not anything hard. He incorrectly answered 6 plus 4. He's like, 7? And it took him 10 minutes of thinking, so not an understandable mistake, because he does it a lot. So he makes fun of himself, and normally it wouldn't be fun to just make a joke about him, and yes, it's rude to make fun of him, but everyone hates him, and he pisses off everyone. So this is the first story that comes to mind. He's also a terrible liar. So it's the last day of school, and we were walking outside, so he taps me on the shoulder. I turn around and say, yeah? He just says that he didn't tap me. I say, okay, because this is nothing compared to other things he did. So he does it again, and I say, what? He says, I didn't tap you, the cloud did. So he does this 5 more times, and he's just an idiot. So that's the first story that comes to mind, and the smallest. And no, we aren't in kindergarten because of the 6 plus 4 question. That's just the most simplified that we could make it for him. Just say you want another story if you do, and I might post another. Sorry OP, but with the way your grammar is and the way that you tell stories, number 1, I don't think this is true, and number 2, I feel like you may be a Kevin as well. Just not as Kevin as the Kevin you were saying. I'm pretty sure I almost had an aneurysm trying to read this. Our final post for the day comes from Ninny. My 3-year relationship with a Kevin ended. Okay, so I was with this guy for 3 years. Most of it was just sitting at my place and gaming together. He was a chill guy, but it felt like he stood still in life and I wanted to go forward. Anyway, here was a Kevin moment that made me realize he was actually a Kevin and not just lazy. We had a discussion about guns and why they exist. Not to be political, it was just one of those what if questions. He was really convinced that if guns get banned, they would just disappear over time. At first I thought he was joking or something, but he said it like he just solved how to cure cancer. I had to explain to him that guns can still get made illegally and be imported illegally. They can even be built with a 3D printer. Kevin got mad and called me stupid because if they even banned making the machines that make the guns, there is no way people would be able to make or buy guns. I sat down, held his hand, told him that heroin and cocaine are illegal, yet made and imported on a large scale, and that the majority of guns found in our country are, in fact, imported and made illegally. His response was that the drugs are something different because it's consumable. I just sighed and told him that those banned machines can still be sold on the black market and that there are a lot of illegal factories and assembly bans, that there are even people who can remake those machines. He still said that his plan would work because there are rules that can be made, so everyone breaking those rules are doing illegal shit. Well, surprise, Kevin. Since the dawn of time, humans have been breaking rules and doing things illegally. He said he didn't understand what I meant with that because people get put in jail all the time. I asked him if he thought 100% of the people doing illegal things get put in prison. He said that was silly, but that most eventually end up in prison. Bless his little heart. I then asked him, imagine your plan works and all guns are gone. How can people in rural areas defend themselves against wild animals and do no gooders? I asked him how he thinks the power system works between countries, besides wealth. He got angry and said I put it out of context, and we didn't speak for the rest of the night. Well, I spoke, but got the silent treatment. Maybe he is just really naive, but this is one of his many Kevin moments. If we make guns illegal, nobody's gonna have guns. Yeah, because that totally worked with weed, cocaine, and heroin. Well, alright my dashing dudes, that is going to do it for today's episode of r/Stories About Kevin. I hope you liked the stories. If you did, I'll link them down in the description below as always. And if you liked the video, go ahead and drop a sub, a like, and a comment down below of what you'd like me to read next. A huge shout out to Connor for being my very first patron. Thank you, man. I really appreciate the support that you're giving the channel. I really do, man. It's awesome. But with that being said, thank you to everyone else who has subscribed in the past couple months. I really am honored and humbled to be able to put these videos out for y'all and y'all enjoy them. But with that being said, I will see you in the next video.